Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Eeks and Geeks.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Pumpkin.
I'm
I'm Lauren. I'm Lauren.
I'm Siberia.
I'm Kristen.
We are on one this evening
I guess
already.
Wow. Wow. Good. Great start. Great start,
It'll be
guys.
an interesting episode, methinks.
So well.
I think it will be, but before we get into the episode, did anybody watch anything interesting this week?
Oh, I watched Gremlins again. Because you made me want to rewatch it, and I'm like, I love Gizmo so much. I always forget how cute he is. Yeah.
I started on Netflix Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Oh, yeah.
Is that scary? What is that?
I'm having a great time. Yeah, it's like a horror anthology show with like different directors, but it's all like conceptualized by Guillermo del Toro.
Okay.
I gotta be honest, super hit or miss for me.
The first episode had me.
Yeah.
And then the second episode lost me. And then the third episode I was like, okay. And then I started drawing on my iPad and I stopped paying.
Is the third one the like the morgue?
Yes.
Mortuary? Yeah, that one's decent. 4 and 5, dog shit. Like
really?
We like stopped watching because we were like, these are
Because
like
number one really had me.
Really
they were
good.
all as good as the first one.
I know.
I watched something else too. I watched Violet Night.
I did too. What did you think?
Oh, yeah. So, because I know you said that like it kind of like lame. I think if you look past all of the plot holes in the story,
that's a hard thing to look past.
That's a lot.
Abundant.
If you ignore how terrible it is.
The violence is great, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, my biggest gripe is that I feel like it was billed as a Christmas horror. That's like what everyone was saying that it was.
Absolutely.
It is not. It's like
not.
It's like an action movie with like a little bit more gore than like.
Oh. Then I will avoid that movie.
Yeah, I thought it fucking sucked. I was so disappointed. Like I feel like it couldn't commit to being horror. It wasn't at all. It couldn't commit to being like a heartwarming Christmas movie. It couldn't commit to being a comedy. It was just like it was so stale in every department.
There's so many plot holes. It's just like
it was awful.
There were things
funny.
Yeah, there were things that they would say, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
And I feel like they were just like leaning so hard into like the Santa shtick, and like all of the lines were so stupid.
So stupid.
And like the one scene that was like kind of fun was like the Home Alone scene, but they didn't even make like new traps. It was just like they just recreated the Home Alone.
Then shut up.
It was like this is.
I did like though that it turned into kind of like a deadly version of the Home Alone.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the nail in the that was like a good one, but that was about all.
My grandma really enjoyed it.
Come on, grandma.
Hey, go out, grandma.
What's so funny is that my grandma probably loves this podcast. She like
her listening.
Grandma wants to see heads roll.
She really does. She was like, I like that, and was like, I like
grandma.
I like the violence, but other than that, I didn't really like it. And
I did watch some other stuff actually.
What'd you watch?
Go ahead.
I made my sister watch Krampus with me, so I rewatched that.
What did she think?
It's so good.
What did she think?
Yeah.
Oh, she loved it. She was having a bop of a time.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
She was laughing. She loved it.
Good.
When the gingerbread came down on the fish hook, she was like, oh, of course he's gonna eat the cookie. Blah, blah. And then it came alive and she went. And I went,
Yeah, we're just getting cooking now.
And then it's not a horror movie, but we all watched it and I kind of want to talk about it. Glass Onion.
Oh, Glass Onion.
It was good.
I watched that. It was so good.
Yeah.
Okay, damn, we don't have to talk about it then.
Oh, I mean,
it's not a horror movie.
Yeah.
Fine, but I watched it this week.
I wasn't like shitting my pants over it, but I thought it was like fun.
I thought it was a good nothing's gonna be as good as Knives Out, but as a sequel, it did Knives Out justice as a sequel.
Yeah.
Let's get into the horror. So today's episode, we're talking about our last movie for the theme Cult.
Ooh.
We never came up with anything for cult. We had something for paranormal.
We had our spooky thing was really fun, but
yeah, we didn't come up with one for cult. But this week I had you guys watch Incantation.
Yes.
Yes.
We did.
So I'm very, very, like I said in the last episode, I saw very like mixed things. I either saw people being like, it's so good, it's so scary, or I saw people being like, it's dog shit. It wasn't scary at all. That was so dumb. And so I'm like really curious to see what everybody else is gonna think.
I know everyone's been very secretive about their thoughts on this one.
Okay, let's get into the final thoughts. Kirsten, you go first.
Okay, I wrote it down. I really wanted to like this movie. It's got a cool concept, and I love that it's based off a true story, but there were parts that just felt confusing, and it was way too long. All in all, I felt very meh about this movie. I'm glad I watched it to say that I watched it, but I will never watch it again. 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Siberia.
This movie scared the ever-loving shit out of me. I am not gonna lie. I had to sleep with my TV on the night after I watched it, and that never happens to me. Like, I was pissing and shitting in the first like 20 minutes.
My gosh.
I was scared. Like, something about like the way the scares were done and like this very specific body horror throughout was like very scary to me. It was all, and the fact that I knew the symbol was not a good thing. It was like, yeah, memorize this, memorize the chant. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, you've cursed me. Fuck
you, bitch. I was trying to help you.
Yeah. I really liked it. The acting was so good. The mom and daughter, like it's such a sad story, and it's done so well. Like you really believe that it's happening to her. Like she's really she's going through it. And the only problem I had was the pacing. The pacing is kind of atrocious. You could easily chop 30-35 minutes off this movie, but the parts that are good are really, really good. I give it a 7.5.
Okay, 7.5. I'm calculating. All right, Lauren.
Oh boy, I really did not care for this movie at all. I like the fact you said people thought it was dog shit, and that was actually the exact word that I had in mind was this movie is dog shit. I really didn't like it. I thought I was with it for like the first hour, like 45 minutes to an hour. I was like, okay, I'm here. I'm like, I don't like love it, but it's not like the worst thing I've ever seen. And then it just wouldn't end. Oh my God. The pacing was so abysmal. I couldn't get over how bad the pacing was. And I felt like the thing that I kept thinking of at the end was I just felt like it was like an AI generated horror movie. Just had like every horror movie into an AI generator, and that's like what it made. Like it's like okay in parts, but for the most part I felt like it just felt very flat and didn't have anything unique about the story. And but I will give it credit. I thought it did have a few good scares, and I thought the FX makeup was really good. So for that, I'll give it a 4.
Okay.
Which I feel like is a little generous. I was thinking
maybe
say that's
like higher than I was expecting.
I think you were gonna say 2.
I thought my 5 was generous.
I was thinking like, maybe like a 3 is like where I feel more where it deserves to be. I'm sorry, I didn't like it.
So
I'm loving this mixed bag.
Yeah, actually, me too. I feel like this is the most this is like the most divided we've been since I think Drag Me to Hell.
Drag Me to Hell, probably.
Yeah. So I will say I liked it a lot more. I think the first time I watched it, I probably would have given it like a 6.5, 7. I liked it a lot more on a second watch because it made a lot more sense the second time. Because I will say when something's non-linear, I kind of have a hard time.
It got confusing.
I have a little bit of a hard time like keeping track. But like when you watch it, at least for me, when I watched it a second time, and now that she is trying to curse you to help her daughter, I feel like I was appreciating it a lot more. Like the way she's showing you the footage. I was like, okay, bitch, I see what you're trying to make me. You're trying to make me sympathetic here. Like I liked it a lot more the second time. But what did I write? I said, although a little long and not every scare is as effective as it could be, Incantation is a fun new twist on the classic curse tape trope. I gave it an 8.5 after the second watch.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
a true mixed bag.
Yeah, it really is. Which, like, I feel like accurately reflects the reviews that it was like very split, and we've, 4 people, and we've got a 50-50 here. So
we have an average score of 6.1, which IMDb was 6.2. So we're actually kind of like agreeing with the general audience here.
Look at that.
This is also like Drag Me to Hell, where it was like Pumpkin in Siberia versus me and Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even then,
it's a Socratic seminar. Okay?
I didn't love Drag Me to Hell, but I like appreciated what they were doing at the end there.
You saw the merit in the shtick.
Yeah. What did I give it? Like a 6?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
Very generous.
I was sitting there like 9.5.
Me and Lauren are like 2, 1.
Well, I don't have any fun facts because IMDb has literally 3 of them, but I do have a game.
Fun fact, this movie scared the fuck out of me.
I have a game. All right. Put a finger down.
Oh, 10?
And if you are listening at, yes, 10.
Oh, okay.
And if you're listening at home, I'd like for you to play along. And if you want to comment on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, let us know how many fingers you end up with. That would be awesome because I'm very curious. Okay, ready?
Are you cursing us?
I think this is what this is.
Don't spoil it. We're all gonna go to hell. Ready? Oh no. Okay.
Drag you there.
Put a finger down if you believe in the supernatural. Lauren, I thought you believed in ghosts. What is that? Okay. Put a finger down if you believe in conspiracy theories. Put a finger down.
It depends.
It depends. I'll do that.
If in all seriousness, there's at least 1 or 2 that you're like, no, I think that's true.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Put a finger down if you often find yourself asking, what is my purpose or what's the meaning of life? Put a finger down if you consider yourself open-minded to new possibilities or beliefs. Put a finger down if you are still searching for your true identity, who you really are. Put a finger down if you seek validation from others.
I think as content creators, we're all
Yeah.
Put a finger down if you consider yourself more of a follower than a leader. Put a finger down if you get angry or irritable easily. Put a finger down if you feel that you have low self-worth or self-esteem. And then put a finger down if you find it hard to take accountability for your actions or you believe most situations are out of your control. The more fingers you have down, the more susceptible you are to a cult's recruitment tactics.
Oh my God, we match, Siberia.
Don't talk to me about it, okay?
So I had 3.
I had 4 down.
I had 6.
6 down.
Oh, guys, you're gonna be in a cult. We're already in a cult.
I hope it's a fun one.
Yeah.
Who are we kidding? It's this right now.
That's not like how likely you are to join one, but how like susceptible you are to their tactics they use to like lure people in.
Oh, sure. Yeah, because I'm just like, if someone tells me something sad, I'm like, oh, really?
No. You're getting swindled by Joan in the parking lot in Hereditary.
Yeah, and I get that from my mom 100%.
Did I tell you guys about the time somebody tried to recruit me into a cult at Kroger? No.
Wow. Oh my God, tell us.
That's a location to choose.
It's not interesting, but I was at Kroger and this girl, she came up to me and she was like, oh, do you go to church? And I was like, no. She was like, she was like, is your family religious? And I was like, oh yeah, my parents are. And then she started like telling me about how like I should check out her church and blah, blah, blah. And they're really great, especially for like single young women and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Like I was just trying to be nice and like get her to go away. And she like gives me some like pamphlets and papers. And I was like, yeah, sure, thanks. I'll totally check it out. Just fuck off now.
Yeah.
And I just sort of like shoved them in my purse and forgot about it and kept buying my groceries. And then I went home and I found the papers and I was like, oh yeah. And I looked it up and it was a cult and they specifically target single young women. And I was
She's like, listen, it's great. There's one guy. We all fuck him. And we can't have sex with anyone else. We love him. He's our god.
And we get oatmeal in the morning.
Yeah.
oatmeal? Oh, fuck. I gotta read those papers.
Yeah, man. They got dinosaur eggs in there.
I love oatmeal.
I love dinosaur eggs.
I haven't had dinosaur egg oatmeal in so long.
What the fuck
It's so good.
I've never heard of that.
You've never had dinosaur egg oatmeal?
Okay, I'm seeing a correlation between people who like this movie and people who know what dinosaur oatmeal is.
It's a conspiracy.
You do believe in conspiracies.
She creates them.
Oatmeal with little, like, it's like sugary dinosaur eggs, and then the sugar melts off, and there's a little candy dinosaur in them.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
What?
Yeah, never heard of it.
What's it called? Dinosaur?
It's so
They're like
good.
dino eggs, oatmeal, whatever. Yeah.
So it's like candy? It's like candy in your oatmeal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So healthy for kids. I'm just checking for kids.
I'm just checking.
That's didn't was that
They
Lucky?
put Tic Tacs in your oatmeal, you guys.
Yeah.
They literally they put Tic Tacs in your oatmeal.
Never seen this before.
Didn't was it Lucky Charms or was it another cereal? They did like when you poured the milk in, they like it changed. Like they had like some like marshmallow that would like melt away. There was like something inside.
Oh, yeah, Lucky Charms.
Milk, I think for Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Let's get into the plot.
Get into the plot.
I did not name these chapters because I'm not creative, so sorry. Chapter 1. A woman named Li Ronan narrates the film, imploring the viewer to memorize an insignia and chant an incantation to send blessings and lift a curse on her 6-year-old daughter, Dodo. This bitch. She plays several clips showing various people suffering from said curse. It cuts to a video diary Ronan is making of her gaining custody of Dodo after passing a psych evaluation. Once home together, their house soon becomes infested by unexplained activities, and Dodo is disturbed by a shadowy presence she calls a baddie. What do we think of this opening?
Baddie.
Literally, every time she was like baddie, I was like, baddie.
I was like, oh, she's slaying. That shadow in the corner is like
slay.
Slay baddie.
I just imagine like a goat, like Lady Gaga as a ghost on the ceiling, like
just like slaying it.
At this point, I was all in. I loved the opening bit of her talking and like that it showing like the Ferris wheel and like how you could use your mind to like control your surroundings. I was like, oh, super fun. And I was memorizing the shit out of that symbol. I was like, this is gonna be like an escape room later. I'm gonna have to like know what this looks like. Like I can see it in my head right now, which
I memorized the chant and I was like, bitch, I was trying to help you and you fucking tricked me.
Yeah, I was being so sympathetic, you bitch.
I didn't. I'll help you.
I was straight away like, you're cursing me. I'm not doing that. And I looked away from the screen until it was gone and I was like, all right, I'm back.
Well, also, all I'm gonna fucking say is if the second I got my daughter back, she started acting like this in the middle of the night, I'm throwing her out the window. Like, absolutely not.
I literally
holy shit. That's
the same.
when
I was
she
like,
opens the door and she's just standing on the bed under the sheet. I'd be like, nope.
Yeah.
I said the same. I was like, I would yeet that child. Sorry.
Like, yeah, I don't care. I don't need custody. Y'all take her back. Bye.
Yeah. I liked this whole scene. I thought it was scary. I thought it had like some Paranormal Activity vibes to it.
It also had Insidious vibes to me a little bit as well.
Which is why I feel like AI generated. They just took a little piece from everything we've ever seen. And they were like, we'll take that. Yes, we'll take the young girl possessed.
Well, it possesses a bunch of people throughout the movie.
Yeah.
That's like the thing it does.
So confusing to me.
Really?
That wasn't the part that confused me. It was the time jumps that were confusing.
It was what?
The time jumps.
Oh my god, that first time jump where it like went back, I was like,
because then I had say
her
out
kid?
loud while we were watching it, being like, okay, when we're at like the camp thing, we're in the past.
Well, it
Yeah.
has like a pop-up. It says 6 years earlier.
But it did it once.
But only
they
the
only
one.
do
And then
that
it just
once.
and then it just kind of
Yeah.
jumps.
And then
like-
you could only really tell the time difference, like if the daughter was there or not. But there would be scenes where, like, in the present where the daughter wasn't there. So it'd be like, what part? Okay. It was like before it was like really established that like flashback was like all them driving that village. So it was like a little bit confusing at the beginning.
Okay. I found that part pretty easy to follow along with. The only part I was getting the first time I watched it, I was getting a little confused towards the end because they were actually, I didn't realize they're cutting to things that were all happening simultaneously with like the manager he went off to do one thing and she's at the hospital. And I was like,
oh yeah,
I didn't realize that was all happening at the same time. So the first time I watched it, I was a little confused there. But then on the second watch, I was like, oh, it's all happening at the same time. I see.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know that it was happening at the same time. I was just okay.
Oh, I figured
it just got
like
a little confusing.
the guy who had Dodo first. I feel like the stuff with him and Ronan were happening at the same time. It was just like we were cutting very abruptly between them.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, but I do like because I've said this before about found footage. I like if you're gonna do a found footage, you need to have a good reason to be filming. And I feel like this movie, like all of the moments that are being filmed, it makes sense. There was no point where I was like, drop the camera. Like all of it like made sense. Cause like, you know, there's like the camera just already in the car and the girl's rabbit and stuff.
I will say I did like that aspect because there were parts where like you could tell she was running and like because the camera would be away and then it would come back and I'm like, okay, that makes sense that your hand would be like, what?
Yeah, and there's like some clips that you realize she put them in there because she's trying to also curse you. And so it like makes sense.
When it becomes a propaganda film, when you realize it's like her trying to like convince you to like keep watching and keep like being cursed, you're like, at the end, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill her.
I knew from the beginning I was getting cursed. I was like, nope, I ain't messing with this. I'm not looking at the symbol. I know it's just a movie. I know it's just a movie. I'm not looking. Is it gone? All right, it's gone.
My friend sent me my friend sent me a review that was like, cool story, girl. Leave me the fuck out of it. Why you gotta get me involved in this?
But yeah, girl, I'll donate, but I ain't gonna curse myself for you.
I was thinking this beginning scene when like she puts Dodo to bed and like creepy stuff starts happening around the house. It felt very much like a scary video game. Like when she's like going down the hallways and stuff, I was like, oh, this is a game I absolutely could not play.
Because it was very like POV, but there was also like no other characters in it. So it really felt like it was just like you like looking through around her apartment, like in her apartment building. Yeah, I liked that whole scene. That initial block, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
We've got a movie on our hands. Yeah. I like it.
There were some pretty convincing. I feel like the first like several scares were really good, and then there's just like a couple later that I was like, what was that?
The one shot where like she tries to lead the thing on the ceiling outside of the room, and then you see the shadow
go back.
That was
so
creepy.
creepy.
A problem with the fact that it was like at first it's sort of this like entity that is like a shadowy, like you can see it sort of like Paranormal Activity, and then I feel like it got to a point where all of a sudden like time was passing very quickly and they weren't like, I don't know, it was like when the daughter got like paralyzed and it was just like all of a sudden she's paralyzed and they're like not really saying what's happening, she's in and out of the hospital. It was like sort of like a montage-y type of scene, and then I feel like that element of it being like a shadowy figure like wasn't really part of it anymore.
Oh, that's because that's because it got what it wanted. It was making Dodo watch the tape. And then once that happened, then Dodo was cursed. And that's why she started getting sick.
When did she watch the tape?
Okay,
oh yeah, let's just wait. Let's keep going because
we'll just go through the plot. We'll get there. Okay, chapter 2. Footage from 6 years earlier shows Ronan, her boyfriend Dom, and Dom's cousin Yuan going to a remote village inhabited by Dom and Yuan's relatives. Present day, Ronan finds her makeup bag at work infested with maggots and receives a call that Dodo has bitten her classmate. The evil presence continues to torment the mother and daughter at home. Another flashback shows the clan asking Ronan, Dom, and Yuan to submit their names with the incantation to the Mother Buddha. A clan elder told Ronan that after her daughter is born, she must also submit her daughter's name.
Ew.
First of all, I'd be like, no.
Dude, the moment they came up to the village
statement.
and that old lady has her
Was
face
like,
pressing against the window, I'm
hey.
like, we're leaving. We are going home. Absolutely the fuck not.
When
We're
he was
outta
like,
here.
you need to go away. I'm like, all right, I will drive away.
Or like,
Bye.
can I have a split that explains what I'm giving up? Like, can I have a little more info?
They were too.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe it's because they're relatives. They just kind of trusted them. But the moment somebody's like, yeah, just like write your name and give it to the statue, I'd be like, no. Why? What is that thing? Absolutely not.
No, I don't
also
think I will.
Don't think I will.
I do
can't
love
make
how
me.
in this scene the camera is like very like they're trying to hide that they're filming in here, and it feels very much like you're like, I'm not supposed to be watching this.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
And that's when it's like in her jacket and you're like seeing it like through her zipper. I will say I love the idea of like any magic system that has to do with like the true name of things. Like Aragon uses that magic system. The Name of the Wind, which is like my favorite book, has that as like part of the magic system. Whereas like if you know like everything has like a name, like my name is Lauren, but like I also have like a true name that once someone has that, they like have power over me. So I like that kind of like magic system. So when she was like, we just need your name and you can give it to this, I'm like, no,
absolutely not.
No,
not gonna do
blood, hair, and names. No, these are mine. They're mine,
you
bitch.
want all of that? No.
No.
Dinner.
No, you're asking.
There's a lot in this movie there's a lot in this movie where I'm like, why are you doing this? Why did you go there? Why are you agreeing to this? What is wrong with you?
Well, and I feel like, because I was thinking about it because they're Dom and Yuan's relatives, I was kind of thinking about like, you know, you like go to your relative's house for like dinner, like you barely know these people and they have something, they're like, yeah, we have to all hold hands in a circle and pray before dinner or something. And you're like, okay, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
You
put up with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if they're just kind of like, okay, we just want to go into your fucking tunnel for our show. Like we don't. Okay, sure, whatever.
I don't even pray when they ask me that. I'll hold your hands. And
they don't ask for blood.
Well, they didn't ask for blood. But the hair, feeding a frog your hair is maybe not a good idea. Let's not do that.
I mean, but what if the frog is hungry?
It can have worms. It can have worms. Okay. It can eat what frogs eat. But did you guys notice that in like the previous scene when Ronan first brings Dodo home and Dodo like writes her real name, which is like Chen Lei Tung or something. And she like writes it down and then says it out loud. And then the scary shit starts happening. Because it's her name. It's her real name. That shit was dormant until she wrote her name out and said it.
Is this part covered in this section? The part where she's like staring down the hallway and the hands just come out from the hall?
That's another thing. Like, it would have been so much scarier if they just put in that first clip, but then the slow-mo replay, I was like,
yeah, the slow-mo replay.
I didn't need to see it again.
I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understand.
Same, Siri.
Hello.
Shut up, Siri.
Sure, if I understand.
Yeah, that was like there were a lot of parts in this movie. Like, I thought the scare could have been really good, and then they just did a little something that was like, that could have been a better scare. Why'd you do it like that?
Why'd you do that?
Yeah, because like
I feel like some of it could be like the cultural difference. Like some of it just a little bit feels like for us, like some things feel very like played out and lame, but I could see them somewhere else.
Yeah,
maybe like, having a different effect.
Maybe in like a lot of other Taiwanese horror movies, they don't have that as like a trope. So it's like it's kind of newer to them. I don't know.
Pumpkin, I
Yeah.
also recall you saying that this is like Taiwan's first like big horror movie.
It's like their most profitable horror movie.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
It's the one that's done the most well. There was apparently I heard that on like Chinese, their version of Twitter, I forget what it's called. They have a different app. But there was like it was a trending hashtag, is Incantation scary? Like that was like a trending hashtag after the movie came out in Taiwan. So I guess even they were kind of like, I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know.
It didn't scare me.
It felt like there were a lot of really good scares, but they were a little too far apart from each other. And then there were a couple like ineffective scares thrown in that I was like, if you had nailed those, I would be pissing my pants right now. But you kind of fumbled those scares. So I'm kind of like,
like, I know that we talked about the pacing being bad, but I felt like it would have these moments where it would like ramp up and it would like finally get scary and like things would start happening and the plot would like really be chugging along. And then it would just like hard cut and it would just be like her talking to the camera for 5 minutes and then her having a conversation for 10 minutes and then nothing really happening for another 5 minutes and then it would make going again. Cut and it would just like totally fall back every time. So by the end it was like we're finally getting to see the tunnel scene and it was like I'm out, I'm bored and they've led all up to this scene and well now I'm not even in this anymore and like you've somehow made this very what's supposed to be like a climactic ending boring and I'm so bummed by that because it could have if they had just like kept the momentum going I think it could have been like pretty good but it just kept
I agree.
falling off.
I think scared me more than the actual like scares of the movie was like the concept of like now this is on me. Like I feel like that's more of the part that kept me up that I was just like I'm a part of this now. Like, I was just like it made me think more about like I don't know like it just got
I was on it from the beginning. Anytime she told me she had
wasn't
something
necessarily like the scares that got me as much as like the concept of it.
That's literally how I felt after I don't know if any of you have ever watched Sinister but like the ending of that when they're like now whatever device you're watching this on is cursed and I've literally never rewatched Sinister because I was like fuck that. So I understand that like it's just like feeling that it's like oh this is you're part of this now it's like
no I'm not.
Chapter 3. Present day, Dodo is manipulated by an unseen entity into wandering away and is found in a room with Buddha statues watching footage on a camcorder. She develops a debilitating illness and Ronan is deemed unfit to care for her. In the footage from 6 years ago, we see that the group spied on the clan performing a ritual. The unconscious chosen girl, whose body was covered in runes, was left in front of a tunnel which the group wanted to enter. Ronan waited with the girl while Dom and Yuan entered the tunnel after destroying its barricades. Yuan later emerged screaming hysterically while Dom's lifeless body was later seen being carried by the villagers from the tunnel. Ronan witnesses Yuan being killed by an unseen force before escaping the village.
I'm confused because, like, why? I just don't get the curse and things. Why were their naked bodies covered in ruins? Why is the girl being offered?
I like the aesthetic of it.
The runes are the incantation. What they're saying over and over, they're writing the incantation on themselves.
Why?
Like have it even said even more times. Like they're trying to have it like as most saturated as they can.
The more you say it and the more people that say it at the same time, the less the curse will be inflicted upon you. They're trying to spread it out because they've all been cursed and they're trying to
be as many forms as possible.
The more people they can get to say it, the more they have it written down, the more you're thinking it, the less the curse will affect them.
But like,
so that's why they have it.
But like, what if it kills a person? Is it like it follows where it comes back to you?
It comes back to everybody. So like,
yeah, if you're cursed, you're bearing like the whole brunt of the curse. And then if you've cursed your friend, now you only have half of it. And if your friend curses another friend, now you're all sharing just a third of it. So that's why she's
specific person. It's just the less and less it's saturated, the more powerful it is for everybody.
So
yeah, the more they're suffering.
Can you just like say that incantation every night before bed and be done?
Well, that's what they're all trying to say right now. That's what the whole ritual is. They're trying to like appease the deity.
And that's why they're trying to recruit more people to be like, and when you have a daughter, we're getting her name too.
What won't people stop going places where it's very clear that they shouldn't go?
Okay, so when they like kick down this is later, I'm sorry, but when they kick down the door to go in the tunnel, I was like, okay. But then once they're actually inside and they see like talismans taping it off and they cut it, I was like, you're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot.
Now I don't care what happens to you. Well, no, that is in the section when they kick open the tunnel. I was also like, okay, bold. The one place. They said
kick down their sacred tunnel.
This is like Ganjiam Asylum. Your little TV show, YouTube thing, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
No.
Don't do it.
Even before, like when she's like brought into that thing and the blood seeping, I would have been like, nope, and walked right out.
So calm about it. I was calm. I would have been like, that is blood.
Like,
I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Kneel to this box.
Like, you're not supposed to be in here. And I'd be like, no. Yeah, I am not supposed to be in here.
Yeah, she's like, just cut off some of your hair and give it to these frogs. No, I will not.
No,
I absolutely won't.
These frogs know that I don't.
Yeah, no.
When she first opened that thing, I had no fucking clue what I was looking at. I was just like, what is that?
I did.
And it wasn't until they cut to it again and it like, yeah, when it was like eating the hair, I was like, oh my god, it's frogs. I didn't know
it was a frog at first. I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is.
And then that fucking stain dripping blood. She's like right next to it. Like it's like dripping right next to her. And she's like, yeah, what's going on in your little tit?
Yeah. I was like, y'all are way too. I mean, I guess if you because I don't believe in like curses or the supernatural or anything. So I feel like I would also probably just be like a little bit too calm about it. Because I would like in real life, I'd be like, well, this isn't like real. Like you're not actually going to curse me because I don't believe in curses or whatever. But like, so I can like, but if blood was dripping from the ceiling, I would be like, well, then there's like a dead body in the attic or something. Like I'm going to freak out.
Something's dripping through the ceiling.
My ass believes in that stuff. So as soon as they were like, give me your name, I'd be like, nope. As soon as that little girl's like, come in here and I saw blood, nope.
No. I'm going to my little hint. Lock the door, please, from the outside.
Also, I think this plot very quickly skimmed over the fact that she jumped off a building and then just got yeeted. She was like right back up on the building.
That was when she jumped. I was like, oh. And then she just climbs back over and I was like, oh, you're okay.
So when she fell off and I was like, oh, she's dead. And then she climbed back up and like, oh no, she's fine. I'm like, oh wait, now she's paralyzed.
Well, it's because she went.
She wasn't there.
The ghost, or not the ghost, but like the deity or whatever, had her go get a knife so that she could unlock that door to go into that room. Where
I don't know what that room was.
That was so they had gone back to Ronan's old house. She was trying to sell to that sales guy or whatever, and he was like, okay, but like the Buddha statues upstairs were like fucking creepy, dude. Like you gotta do something about that before I can sell this place.
Oh, that was her apartment?
Yeah. Yeah. She's trying to sell it because she had at the beginning of the movie she had moved into a new place.
Well, what was she doing downstairs then? Because I thought that was what they were doing downstairs. Was like she was like,
that's the upstairs. This is her like unit
attic space of the unit.
Okay. And that's what Dodo like goes in there.
Yeah.
And then she like watches the tunnel footage, and that's what like paralyzes her and makes her like get the cursed sickness.
See, I missed all because I was like, I don't know what this room is. And then it was like that was when it was like very quickly she was getting all fucked up, and I was like, what the hell happened? I didn't realize she was watching it.
Yeah, she was like, that's why Ronan like freaked out when she found her, is because she was watching the tunnel footage.
I thought just because she like ran off without her, because she was like, I told you to stay there. So I didn't realize what happened in there.
Nope, she got the curse.
Well, like, how is she getting like possessed but not cursed in the beginning, and then all of a sudden she's cursed by watching that?
Well, because it's not possessed. She's not possessed. She's just being like taunted.
No, in
Yeah,
those
it's just
those
fucking with
beginning
her.
scenes when she's like in the corner and when she's like under the bed sheets, she's like doing weird shit.
Well, because it can possess people. It possesses you on it. Possesses like a bunch of people, including like the couple later that kill themselves.
Yeah, but I feel like the curse itself is seeing the face.
Yeah. Watching
Like,
that
that's what she
tunnel
saw.
footage, yeah, seeing the inside is like the real curse. But like the entity, because she gave her name, or well, her mom gave her name.
Yeah.
So that's why it starts possessing her, because it has her name.
But why would you possess? Let's just go. I'm never gonna understand it.
Well, because she was supposed to bring her, she like promised that she was gonna bring Dodo back, and she never did.
The daughter.
To that village.
And yeah, and so the Mother Buddha is like, that's mine. Like that's
why is it possessing other people? Why don't they like why does it matter if you possess them and kill them?
What do you mean?
That's
like all those random people that it possesses and kills. Like why?
Because it wants to infect as many people as it can.
Right?
Yeah. But it's technically malicious... it's not infecting though, because it's not cursed. They didn't see the face.
No, you mean at the beginning, those clips of people like shooting themselves or like getting in the car accident or whatever? No, they did see it.
Yeah, but but those like two people didn't. The priest people.
No, but that was because we'll get to that part later, but they told her like, we're putting our lives at risk trying to exorcise this thing from her.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then she fucks it up, and so then it kills them because they were putting their own lives at risk for her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just saying one of the good scares in this section for me was when they were in the room with the bloody stain or whatever, and you just hear like the rock moving, and you see all the statues have turned to like her, and I was like, no, leave, ow!
I think this also covers the part where because they went in, like the two guys went to the tunnel and they came out. That covered that part.
Yeah.
I will say the only thing that made I had to like not look at the screen. I'm very sensitive to like teeth horror.
Oh yeah.
I have teeth issues, and like I knew the second he was like, my teeth are itchy. I literally the second he said that, I was like, nope. And then I could hear the sounds, and I was like, I could hear that he was like pulling his teeth out, and Joe was like, don't watch. I'll tell you when it's over. Okay, you're good.
And he's pulling them out.
Ironically,
honestly.
Oh, was that not what was happening?
He was like throwing them up in his hands.
They were just coming out of his mouth. It was.
Yeah, see, I can't, like, because that will actually like fuck me up. So I couldn't watch it. And then, ironically, Joe has trypophobia.
No.
So there was a lot of parts where I was like, don't look. Nope, still don't look at the screen.
Still no.
I think you're good. Yeah.
I don't even have
that was like,
I don't even have that phobia, but I was like, ew.
Yeah.
So nasty.
We were able to look out for each other on that one. But and then like of course, like when the monster's face was just like whole head, he was like, come on. Sorry, I can't save you from this. I didn't see it coming.
I was pretty freaked out at the part where Ronan is like trying to leave and she doesn't know where Yuan went, and he keeps just like appearing.
Don't
and
ask.
She's like, don't ask. And she's like, where are you going? And then she like turns around and like the cult members are just standing there naked, like staring at her covered in runes. I was like, girl, run. Just don't even find Yuan. Just run.
And then
Fuck
he
him.
goes full like Donjium, like eyes goes white, runs at her.
It made me think of when Bilbo sees the ring and he's like, That scene scared the shit out of me as a kid.
I'm scared of the jump scare, honestly.
I was like, why did they put that in here? What the hell? Okay. Chapter 4. Present day, when social workers arrive to take Dodo away, she and Ronan escape with the help of Ming, the manager of the foster care home. They bring Dodo to a shrine where a priest and his wife agree to risk their lives to exorcise Dodo. They forbid her from eating for the next 7 days, but when her condition deteriorates, Ronan feeds her. The priest and his wife are violently killed, and Ronan takes Dodo to a hospital. Girl.
Violently killed is an understatement.
Well, okay, he's already dead, but she was fucking Blair Witching in the corner. That scared the shit out of me.
She's like head off.
That scene got me when she was. I was like,
her hair's like all bloody and gross,
all over her arm.
So gross.
And I was like, Ronan, I get that you feel bad, but don't feed her pineapple. No.
And it was so stupid because it was just like one piece. It's like, well, girl, you haven't fed her for 6 days. Like the one little piece of canned pineapple isn't really going to do much.
Yeah.
And like her taking her to the hospital, I was like, the hospital staff is going to react when you're just like, yeah, I haven't fed her in 6 days.
There's like, yeah, she's malnourished, you idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I was curious, I was like, would liquid calories count? Could she have like a smoothie?
I was thinking that too. I'm like, could she drink water?
Yeah, I was a little. I was like, what do you mean by feed? Like, where's the cutoff exactly?
I was sitting there.
You could have also set her up with like an IV of nutrients if she couldn't eat. You know,
Well, I mean, I don't know if she would have had access to something like that.
She had an IV. She got an IV for her.
I think she got it for. I think it was just like a liquid, like for hydration.
I felt so horrible for that child. Like,
I felt awful for Ronan when she's like in the stairwell, like sobbing, eating a sandwich, like hoping Dodo doesn't see her eating. I was like
scarfing it down.
Yeah,
I felt so bad for her. I was like, she's trying so hard. This isn't even her fault.
The doctor's like, you have to prepare for the worst. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, this poor fucking kid like didn't deserve any of this, and she just like went through hell this entire time. And I'm like, she's so cute
the whole time. And then I said, oh, you're trying to curse me? You're trying to curse me, bitch?
Yeah, what was she doing when Ming finds Dodo in the car and like Ronan is like, and like the cops coming after? What is she doing in that scene?
Getting stuff from the apartment.
Yeah, she went back to her house to get her stuff so they could run away.
But they didn't really.
Why was she sneaking?
Because the cops are trying to arrest her.
Yeah.
For what?
They're trying to take Dodo away. Dodo's not.
Yeah. They were trying to get Dodo from her.
Oh.
Yeah, she had her custody revoked.
Yeah, she stole her from the hospital.
Yeah, she wasn't. They were trying to revoke her custody, and she like wouldn't sign the paperwork, so she like kidnapped Dodo.
And then when
I thought she was like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, I thought she was like stealing. I mean, it looked like she was stealing something, but I was like, what is she doing? Like, I don't know what this scene is.
No, she just went back to her house.
I also, when he like drives away with him, and I'm sitting there like, if I was him and I was watching her do this real chant, I wouldn't chant back. I'd just be like, what the fuck are you doing?
He's too nice. He is too nice, and he suffered for it.
And he was
cute. I was thinking he was cute, but that haircut was atrocious.
That is such an easy fix.
It's one of those things. There's so many guys that are like hot, but like if they just changed their hair, they would be like a 10. But the hair is just kind of like, it's not working for you, bud. You're like
that's how I felt about. That's how I felt about Aubrey Plaza's husband in White Lotus. I was like, he would be so hot if he didn't have this Justin Bieber ass haircut. Oh my god.
But then he's the Theo James. Sorry.
Yeah.
They pulled a Paranormal Activity with the lady, the like priestess at the shrine. Like that was so scary. Her like scratching her head, whatever. When she turns around and like runs at her, like the way her face, I was like.
Yeah, I hated that part.
Can movies stop doing like the CGI face, like like it's not scary. It's not
because I would have loved like her to like stop scratching, put her arms down, and like slowly turn around to her,
or like her head just like fall off forward or something.
Like
yeah, like it's the same
They're
thing with
like,
like Paranormal Activity. You're like, I was so scared, and then they show like this goofy CGI face, and you're like,
yeah,
and it's like, oh,
so,
you
like, I
ruined it.
believed you the whole time until right now.
yeah, which it's weird.
I remembered I was thinking.
Oh,
when
okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, they did a similar thing with Yuan earlier, and he just had like his eyes rolled back and like bit her, and that was scary because like it's just a guy going like insane. He's possessed. So then why'd they give her like a CGI face later? Like just do something similar. Like have her like blood covering her face and she like rushes it. Like just not the CGI face. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
It's cringe.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
What I was thinking about Ming was I obviously like you get the feeling that like his intentions with Dodo are like he's just like a nice man that's like looking after her. But all of the like her calling him daddy and him being like, you can call me dad, like call me daddy, like sort of, I don't know, there was like just a little bit of
he started to creep me out.
like I don't know, it was just like a little bit off in the way that's like I can obviously his character is just like, oh, like he would love to like raise a kid and like he like works at a foster home and he's very sweet, but there was just like, I mean, there was like that part where Ronan was like coming back with their shit. He was like gonna leave. Like he like, you wanna come with daddy and like just live with me now? I was like, whoa.
I feel like he was actually having her best interest in mind though at that point.
Well, he's the one that called social services on her. He like says it later. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm the he's like, yes, I'm sorry, I'm the person that like told the police that like you're crazy and shouldn't have Dodo and I shouldn't have done that or whatever. I didn't get any like creepy vibes from him. I do think he was just kind of like, I think because he says at the beginning like, she calls me dad, none of the other kids do. She's just kind of like different, but like I don't mind. So I think he just said that because that's what she knows him as. She's only like 6, so
I know. Yeah, and like I don't think they're like, and I think that's maybe one of those like cultural things where like the translation just makes it sound like a little bit like
weird.
In English,
like
it
I
is
don't
a
think
little
what's
bit
going on here.
Yeah, in English, it's a little weird to be calling people daddy when they're not your dad.
But I guess if I understand, like she's like known him maybe even longer than she's known her mom, depending on.
No, she didn't know her mom at all. Her mom gave her up as soon as she was born.
I would totally understand being like, yeah, you can call me daddy, because especially he's been there like her whole life. Where
he's raised her, so yeah. I think it's just like an American thing where like, if somebody's not your dad, do not call them daddy. That's weird.
I think, because in my brain, it's like it just confuses the child, because if you're just the manager of the foster home, if you're not adopting her, don't let her call you dad. That's just like my brain is just like, I don't know about this.
It's just like it was totally innocent in the movie, but there was like some scenes where I was like,
you're like, could we not do at least change the translation? This is weird.
Could we not do like the daddy thing? I don't
Chapter 5. Ming conducts more research into the esoteric religion and restores the damaged tunnel footage. As his health rapidly declines from watching the footage, he decides not to send it to Ronan. However, he later becomes possessed and sends copies of it to her before killing himself by smashing his own head repeatedly. In the recovered tunnel footage, it is shown that Dom and Yuan had reached the altar of Mother Buddha, whose face was covered with a veil. While trying to remove the veil, Dom was possessed and died after smashing his head into a mirror.
Bro.
Did they explain the mirrors thing?
Yes. So actually, I don't think they explained it in the movie, but I was looking it up because first of all, I wanted to like make sure this wasn't like a real religion because I didn't want to like shit on it. And it's not. It's like totally it's like it's like totally fictional. But it's like it takes inspiration from like a few different religions, like Hindu and Buddhism and whatever. But apparently they believe that like mirrors trap a soul. And so they have all the mirrors facing the tunnel so that like the deity can't come out.
That's what I figured. That's like what I thought, because I know that that's a sort of like a witchy kind of, I don't know where it originated, but like that it like confuses spirits because it's like reflecting back, and so I figured that's what it was. It was like that the deity couldn't like escape the tunnel, but it was never explained. I was like, did I just like miss?
Which means Ronan is a bitch for smashing all those mirrors when she goes in
I don't
there.
know why she smashed them.
So everybody
so
can get the curse.
Yeah.
And get out.
She's like, yep, everybody get the curse.
My daughter.
Yeah. I was like, so this bitch was ready to curse millions of people to save her daughter, which honestly worked.
So why did it ever explain like who moved all of like the pieces and why she needed to put them back? Like, what was that?
It was implied that Dom and Yuan did when they went in there. They were messing with stuff. I don't think it showed them doing it, but it did show them being like, what is all this shit or whatever? And you see them like touching things. So I think it's just implied that they moved it, which angered the deity.
Honestly, I was like, it was really cool to me also that like this was like obviously like an Eastern religion, but they like used like crosses with Jesus on it in the tunnel to like block the deity, I'm assuming. Isn't that what that was? There were a bunch of like crosses.
I didn't notice.
I did not see any crosses.
Am I crazy?
Maybe.
They
had lots of talismans. They had like a offering with hair. They had an offering of teeth.
Because I remember
mirrors.
that.
They have lots of.
I'm thinking of like it's like the long hallway at the beginning, and it was like there was like a talisman here, and then there was a talisman on the other wall, and there was a talisman on the other wall. I thought those were all statues of Jesus, and now I feel stupid.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, no, I don't think they had crosses. I don't think that would help.
Well, that's why I was so confused. I was like, damn, they're recruiting everybody.
They're like, can any religion fucking help, please?
Can one of you stop this, please?
Like, I know, I'll believe in all of y'all if you help.
Chapter 6. Present day, Ronan confesses that she has been lying to the viewer all along. It is revealed that a priest in Yunnan had explained to her that the Mother Buddha is a malevolent entity, and if you submit your name with the incantation, it means you agree to carry the curse. Instead of conveying blessings, the incantation actually serves to dilute the curse. When more people chant it, the curse gets spread out, and the burden on those bearing it becomes lighter. Ronan returns to the altar inside the tunnel and asks the viewer for their name before revealing the Mother Buddha's face on camera. She is then possessed and smashes her own head on the altar. The film ends with footage of Dodo healthy and happy, implying that the burden of her curse has been shared with everyone who watched the film.
Wait, can I say something super funny?
Yeah.
So the whole time I keep avoiding things because I'm like, no curse, foo, foo, foo. And then like at the end, I'm like, and she's like, chants it. And I'm like, haha, I don't understand that. God, but it's in English. Stop it. I was like, no, because I started to say it in my head, and I was like, nope.
That final scene where it's like popping up the words in red, and you're like reading them, and then I was like, oh, you bitch, you've tricked me.
Yeah, I thought that scene.
That part, I was like, is this the credits? And then it just. It's like literally just the credits, and then it wasn't. It was just her.
Because when she was like chanted, I was like, haha, I don't understand your language. Oh, it's in English. I was like, nope.
I thought it was so well done. Like, I really thought this last section was like really good.
Yeah.
The face actually scared the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie.
I was like,
I didn't find it scary, but I found it very like. At least like shocking, because I was like, I don't know what to expect under there. So to just see like a wormhole of like crystals or teeth or whatever it was, I was like, okay.
I thought it was
holes?
Huh?
I thought it was a hole, like a long hole, but it was covered in like the whole rash.
Holes.
The rashes, like the hole.
I thought it looked like
it was holes.
Something spiky. I'd have to look at it again. But
I'm not looking at it again.
It was a head of holes.
I just feel like the concept of like breaking the fourth wall and like trying to get the audience to interact with the movie just to let them know they've been cursed is like very unique. Like I haven't seen that done before. I felt like that was very different, and I liked seeing a cult that like wasn't Christian based. I know like Midsummer isn't either, but like I actually have I have a friend who's Vietnamese and he's Buddhist. And I asked him what he thought of Incantation. And he was like, oh, no, fuck that movie. That hits way too close to home. That was really creepy. And I was like, oh, okay. So I wonder, like,
it's like when Christians can't watch, like,
devil shit,
demon possession.
Yeah,
exorcism
movies.
Actually, like, it scares them.
Yeah, it's like, I guess if it's more real to you,
if you believe it, like if you believe it's real, that's gonna scare the shit out of you.
Yeah,
I like the beginning of this movie and I like the end of this movie. It's just all that middle part that's just like, I'm like, ugh.
Because I will say the first time I watched it, I gave it like a 6.5 or something, and I remember thinking like, there's just so many scenes that were like way too long, and they should have just like, I was like, if you would have just cut 5 minutes here, 4 minutes there. But rewatching it a second time, knowing what's happening and why Ronan is showing you these clips, I was like, oh, this makes a lot more sense.
I feel like with
I
the
appreciated
right editor, like, if they just had a better cut of the same movie, like, you can keep all of the clips you have of it. If it was just like cut better, it could have been like for me, because like, I didn't like it, but I feel like it really had potential to be like a decent movie, and it was just like the cut of it was awful.
That's I feel that way too. If they would have just like, if the editing had been a little bit better and like the scares had all like landed really good, it probably could have been like a 10. But it was just like, there were, at least the first time through, I was a little bit like, why am I watching Dodo having a birthday and eating ice cream? Like, this scene is going on really long. What is happening? But then you're like, oh, she's trying to get you to be sympathetic and help her. I see why she put this clip in. It like made more sense the second time.
We didn't talk about it. The part where Ronan and Ming are like trying to get to the village again, or they're trying to get to that like shopkeeper,
and they're like driving in a loop,
and it's the loop. Because I love a loop. I love a loop you can't escape. And that part, I was like, oh no. And she kept seeing something like up on that pole, and there was a part where she was like panning up, and there was nothing there. And like,
camera goes up.
That was so scary.
Wait, the part.
So that's what I mean. It's like, for me, it had some parts that I did think were like good scares and like good ideas, but it was just like an accumulation of the pace being so bad. It was just like, it could have been like a good movie for me.
I didn't understand the pull part, because she like panned and I was like, I don't see anything, and then this stuff started happening and I was like, oh, I think it was because
the first few times they go past the pole, they're seeing like a body or something up there. And then when
there's like something up there,
they back up and hit the pole or like come next to it. And then she's like scared to look up and there's nothing there anymore.
Yeah. And then something like bangs on the car. So it's like something's.
I love being stuck in a loop. Feeling like you're in a nightmare. You keep driving, you're just driving past the same things over and over.
We should do a whole section on loop movies. I know what I would pick.
Ooh.
I have one that's really good that
I don't think I know of any horror movies where that's like the main theme.
There's one that I watched in high school or college, I can't remember, and I was like, it had recently just come on Shudder, I think, and I'm like, God, I haven't watched that in forever.
What is it?
It's a shape.
Oh no, I'm gonna pick Triangle too. Okay,
that's fine.
No,
I've never heard of it.
I haven't watched it since then, but I loved it. Yeah, I thought about it and I was like, damn, I should have picked that for my psychological horror.
Oh, so good.
Anyway,
sorry. Wrap it up.
How are all of our scores the same? Did anybody's change?
Yeah, I'm good at that 7.5.
Still a 5.
Okay.
I think I'm still sitting at like a 3.5. I think talking it
lowered
through definitely made me. Well, I said 4, but then I changed it back to a 3.
That changes our overall score.
Well, I'm between a 3 and a 4. Like, it's somewhere in that zone. Okay. I think, like, talking through it definitely you like cleared up some things for me that I didn't understand while I was watching it, but I still feel I just feel like I was confused while I was watching it, and the fact that it there were so many parts that were very unclear.
It does kind of suck that it took me a second viewing to understand some things, because I feel like they should have cut it better and explained it a little bit better, so the first time you watch it you get it.
Yeah,
because there's like
because it's not the same as watching something a second time and being like, oh, I missed that the first time, but I feel like there was like big plot points. It's like I don't understand what's happening right now.
Yeah, because there's movies
Yeah,
because there's movies that I've watched and I've been like, I've loved it, and then I rewatched it and I'm like, oh, there's so many like cool like things I didn't notice that like just made it better. This one, it's just like, no, you should have probably gotten it the first time.
Because I mean, like, they amp everything up because they show Dodo like watching the camcorder, but they haven't told you what is on the camcorder yet.
She's watching.
They tell you that later. So I feel like if they had set that stake before, so you could be like, oh no, she watched the footage, then you would like understand like what is happening.
Really, like at that point in the
watching.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like if they had done like the setup, cut back to all the footage of what happened besides the tunnel scene, then everything after, and then show us the tunnel footage and then the ending. But like the cutting a bunch in the middle, like I understood what was happening the second time, but the first time you like don't really get like what's at stake or how the curse works. It makes more sense like the second time you watch it. So I'm like, yeah, they could have cut this in a way that made a little bit more sense the first time. Yeah, I agree with that.
Also,
because I feel like missing that that's what she was watching, because I would say that's about at the hour mark, and that's when she like very quickly starts deteriorating, and I felt like I was just like, what is happening?
Yeah,
like, I don't understand like what made her paralyzed? Why is she in a wheelchair? She's like, it just like really fell off the rails right there for me, because I didn't. And that's that's an important part of the plot.
Yeah,
even if they had just like, it had shown her like dropping the phone, and then you see on the phone like you just see the mom at the camp, and you're like, oh, she's watching footage from before she was born.
Yeah, or at least like have Ronan like say something about like, oh no, put the camcorder down, you can't watch that, or something. Like you don't, she just, because the first time I watched it I thought it was just because she was in that room. I thought like the room
I didn't realize she was watching anything. I thought it was because she left where her mom was, because Ron told her to just like stay in the hallway, and I thought it was just because she like left her. So I really did not pick up on any of what had happened there. So it's like, well, that's like, if that's gonna set forward this whole motion of events of like her like succumbing to the possession, and it's like that's not clear to the viewer. It's like,
wait, I got another question. So at the end, she covers her eyes, but she still dies. So she technically didn't see the face.
Yeah, what's that about?
I'm not sure. I kind of want to think it's so that more of the curse went to the viewers, to the camera, and less to her, but I'm not really sure.
But then she dies. But then how did she get that? Yeah, and then she dies there. And then how did she get the footage out? Because she dies there.
That part I'm not sure. I was wondering if it was supposed to be like, was this a live stream thing, or like that part I was also not really, or did like somebody edit it for her? I'm not really sure.
My guess is probably that the cult found the footage in the tunnel, was like, oh shit, we should publish this, because she was obviously doing something.
That's a good theory. That might make sense.
But no cult members go in the tunnel. They don't want to touch that.
They went in to get Dom's body out.
But now anyone that goes in the tunnel, even to get the camcorder, the face would be
uncovered.
Like she took the thing off of it. So now anyone who
my guess is that people know to be like reverent in that area, to like, they probably won't even like, even when it's covered, my guess is they're probably still like,
yeah, I'm sure there's like some way they know to like, because obviously they put everything in there with the statue the first time. Somebody had to have covered her face.
But like, why would they go in there? I thought they would just shut it off. Like they show up and be like, oh yeah, we need to block this off. Boop, 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 boop.
Well, they went and got Dom's body out. They
Well,
might
'cause
go
they-
in there to like fix the mirrors and stuff and like get her body and everything out.
Well, they probably. Well, I mean, they don't know she's in there. They don't know that the mirrors are broken.
I don't know. They might if they like see her car and stuff, where they
Well,
can
and
like
yes,
sense
like
energies are off. I don't know. When it comes to like a lot of these like religious or whatever movies, I usually don't like pull too much into like, well, why this, why that, because then I feel like most of them fall apart. Like, you know, like when we were asking
What
an
was the purpose of
apostle,
the
like,
girl?
why does the old lady just randomly appear all over the island? It's like
Mhm.
if you like pick too much, it gets a little too like, okay, well then none of it makes any sense because
What was the
religion
purpose of
doesn't
the
make
little
sense to me.
girl?
She was a sacrifice.
yeah.
Like a living sacrifice?
Yeah, she was a willing one, I guess.
For what? Like sacrificing for what? Like what
To,
was
like,
her
the mother.
purpose?
Yeah, to Mother Buddha. I'm not sure what would have
For
happened to her
what?
because she was just like uncomfortable. Or they were doing a ritual. I don't know how the ritual works, but they were sacrificing her.
And I would
They
like
also
to keep not knowing.
were okay. So, I don't know if I was imagining things when they're like doing the ritual. You can't really see what's happening. They have like something that they're carrying. Was it a statue or was that like a dead baby or something? Like, what was that?
I didn't know
I
what was
thought-
going on.
And when it was dark,
Okay.
when they had like the night mode on the camera?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
probably was a statue, but there was like a moment where I was like, is that a little kid? Is that a baby? What is that? Like, but you can't see it very well. So I was like, I'm hoping that's just a statue.
I'm gonna choose to believe it was a statue.
How is she being
Unless they sacrifice babies.
How is she being sacrificed though?
That I'm wondering, like, so what is she sacrificing? Because she's just like walking around, like and stuff.
Well,
So what is she sacrificing?
they like woke her up. That's why she's still alive. But like
Yeah,
at first
But
they
she
like
would have been like she would have.
I'm
they
assuming she
would've
would have
killed her? Like-
died.
Yeah, because they left her
Okay.
right outside the tunnel, like covered in runes.
Yeah. I'm
Right.
assuming
Okay.
she was
So that was in theory she was going to be like all the way sacrificed.
yeah, but like Ronan woke her up and she got out
Okay.
of there.
Well, because I'm wondering if they have probably like an agreement or something with the Mother Buddha to be like, if we give you a little treat every now and then,
You a
would
kid?
spare us?
Will you be a little bit less angry, please?
Have some Cheerios.
You're not you when you're hungry.
Mhm. Have a
Mother
Snickers.
Buddha
Have
needed a
child.
Snickers.
Yeah, she did for all those holes. Fill all them holes.
Can you imagine
Ew.
just putting Snickers
Get
in
out.
there?
Little fun-sized
That's
Snickers.
disgusting. You guys, I hate that.
It's like bricked
disgusting.
up with Snickers.
Ew. Oh.
But I guess this is one of
Ew.
those like religions or curses or whatever that like it can never go away until like the last person who knows about it just dies. And now that's impossible. Kind of like It
Okay.
Follows. It'd have to go all the way back to the original person.
True.
So we're all fucked, we're all cursed.
I suppose.
Not me. I didn't chant anything.
I mean, I didn't chant. I wasn't
No,
singing
but-
along.
That
I
was
didn't say any. As soon
that
as
was-
I was like, memorize this, I was like, nope, you can get off my screen.
Oh, see,
That
my
was-
ass was like, my Where's Waldo ass was like,
yeah, I memorized it, but I wasn't saying it out loud. And then she's like, it's okay if you pray silently. I was like, damn it. I was saying it in my head.
I didn't understand the language, so like some of the I was like, nope, I don't even know what you're saying, so I can't say it.
Well, that was a fun episode.
that was
we
fun.
we were split up. It was another drag me to hell.
We were split up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'd say it was even a little bit more divisive than Drag Me to Hell.
I think so.
Yeah.
No, because we had two people that didn't like it, one person that was meh, and then one person that did like it.
Oh,
And then this
stupid.
one we've
It
had,
was
like-
meh.
Two people that liked it, one
Oh.
person that was meh, and one person that didn't like it.
Yeah.
So it's like it was almost the same, just a little flipped. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm
Hmm.
someone that hated both of them.
But I mean, you don't.
Lauren's a professional hater.
And I was sad because I hated Violent Night too. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna be a hater ass bitch on this episode. I haven't liked anything I've watched.
I honestly don't like a lot of like classic horror movies, so I always feel like I'm a hater when people
I-
like bring up horror movies. I'm like, no, not those ones. Those ones suck.
Yeah.
I like classic until you get to Friday the 13th, and I'm like, oh God.
Awful.
boring.
I'm trying to like watch through the classics just to like know the
about
lore, but I don't like them.
Nightmare on Elm Street is so good though. I stand by
Nightmare on Elm Street is so good.
Oh, I don't like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I love Nightmare on Elm Street.
Just like, okay.
I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I love Child's Play. I can take or leave Halloween.
Don't like Child's Play.
I don't like Child's Play either.
Sorry.
Squeak.
But that's also I didn't grow up with them, so I watched them as a grown-ass adult, and I was like, this looks like shit.
Yeah.
This is not scary.
I was deeply afraid of Chucky for like a long time. Like, I used to have can I tell you a reoccurring nightmare I used to have?
Yeah.
When I was a kid?
Uh-huh.
I used to have a dream that I must have watched Chucky just like a little bit too young because I wasn't allowed to watch horror movies. So I think it was one that I had just like seen a few clips of on TV. But I used to have this dream that I was like sitting in I can like picture it so perfectly in my mind because I used to have this dream all the time. And I was sitting in like a doctor's office or like a therapist's office or something. And the doctor would come in and they'd like have the door open. And they'd be like talking to me and they'd be like, okay, I gotta go check on something. And they'd close the door. And behind the door, there was a clock on the wall. And Chucky would be like holding himself up onto the clock. And I would just be like sitting in the chair, just like, oh my God. He was so scary. And then the doctor would come back in. He would like say another something to me. And then he'd be like, okay, I gotta go. And then he'd close the door again. And every time he would leave and close the door, Chucky was like more scarred. Cause you know how he's got like cuts and stuff on his face. So it's like every time he would leave, Chucky was like more fucked up. And it was so scary to me. And like nothing ever happened in the dream. It was just that like him closing the door, he was like more and so that was like a very strange, and I had to like, that was like a fear I had to face in adulthood, was like I just need to like watch Chucky and like not be afraid of it anymore. And I watched it and I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, this was a fun episode.
But fun.
Yeah. I'll edit it to make a little bit more sense.
Leave them in.
Not all of it.
Leave them in.
Well, next episode is going to be our New Year's episode, our first of 2023.
Woo!
And we're going to be ranking all of the horror movies that we watched this year on a tier list.
Ooh, it's going to get spicy.
I'm so excited.
The girls are going to be fighting.
We will be.
So we have like 21 movies?
21.
Something like that.
20s?
Ah.
We're in our 20s.
We're in our 20s.
We can finally drink.
We're kind of old.
Oh, that's gonna be a fun little format switch up for us.
Yeah.
And then we're also gonna post a poll when this goes out to pick our next block.
We're
gonna post a poll. A
Wait,
poll?
does that mean, should we like talk about what our next genre picks are, just so people can ponder, or are we waiting till the next episode?
Oh, should we like give like what our choice is for the poll? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe
we can. I don't even know what my choice is.
I gotta look
I
at
do.
the
I'm
list.
picking the same one every time until someone picks it.
Zombies?
What have you been picking every
Zombies.
Zombies.
Oh, okay. I've got good zombies.
Okay. So zombies. What else are we picking?
I'm gonna go Home Invasion.
Home Invasion.
Because there's one that I've been meaning to go back and watch because I liked it when I was in high school, but I've read reviews and the reviews are so bad, and I'm like, oh no, is this movie bad?
Is it
Home Alone?
Yeah,
Don't.
Home Alone.
So scary. Should I just go found footage again? I always pick found footage with foreign film.
Do it. Because
until we eventually get it.
Because I got an interesting one that I have for that one.
I'll maybe do horror comedy.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay.
I actually might vote for that one.
Not even vote for your own pick.
Not even vote for my pick.
I've done that on some of them. I've been like, I've seen one of your picks. I'm like, actually,
I think I did that. I think I did that to like the last few. I've been like, you know what, you picked a better one.
I actually like that one. I'm
more in the mood. I feel like cult has been like a really fun section. Like,
yeah, it was kind of a sleeper hit. Like good ass movies.
Because at first when you said cult, I was like, there's not that many. And I'm like, and then when you said, no, there's a lot. And I was going through, I was like, wait a minute, there is a lot.
I don't feel like it's been a sleeper hit at all because I know that there's so many good cult movies. I'm just like, I'm so excited for this section.
All right, well, make sure that you vote on our poll on Instagram. We'll put it up right after this episode comes out.
Also, make sure you watch Ritual.
Just as a
watch
reminder.
our Ritual episode.
I think a lot of you. Yeah, I think a lot of you might have.
Sorry,
missed
we
it.
were at home. At please watch it.
I think a
Or
lot of
listen
you
to
missed
it.
it.
Sometimes.
I think a lot of you missed it.
It's a really good episode, and it's a really good movie. So
yeah, please.
Wait, please,
or I'll give your name to Mother Buddha.
Please, or I'll call you homophobic on Maine.
Oh, threats.
That's worse.
Threats have been made.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.